Isn't it amazing how a couple of months can change your view on things? So, back in April, I first reviewed the Gorillaz Humans album, and I once accused it of being at the right place, but at the wrong time. Well, I was kind of right, and kind of wrong at the same time. Had they released this album in September, it would have been perfect. What finally got me to make this video was, surprise surprise, Charlottesville. And as far as my view on that incident, well, there's people out there that can express my anger and concern towards the incident a lot better than I can. So I will leave a video in the description that deal with people discussing the incident. Warning, there's language in them, so viewer discretion is advised. But considering you're on the internet, I'm pretty sure you're not at all surprised by that. A theme that is often expressed in Humans is this kind of idea of a end-of-the-world party. The album consists of party-type music, stuff you'd hear at a club or a bar. Funny thing is, while the end of the world doesn't exactly fit, a feeling of hopelessness and uncertainty certainly does fit. I honestly never expected we'd ever get to the point where people would say we have to side with either neo-Nazis or neo-communists. I don't know why I never thought it'd come to that, but I guess I just never thought of it. To be blunt, a lot of my distaste for both the alt-right and the alt-left, as it's sometimes called, is entirely on a personal level. I'm a huge history buff, and, well, history has taught me that if anything, during revolutions like this, people like me are cheap. At best, we're collateral damage. At worst, we are useful idiots. I come from special circumstances, due to the fact that I am handicapped, and at least in my experience, both sides dislike me for slightly different reasons. People on the left have said that I was a parasite in my mother's womb and that I should have been aborted. And people on the right have told me that people like me are parasites to the state and they would be happy to get rid of me. So, no matter which side I pick in this instance, there's no winning for me. I am essentially a dead man walking. I would like to think that there's a chance that a third side can come up and continue to argue for peace, freedom, and individuality, but it seems like the talking heads and the media and the politicians and the mob want a war, and they'll do whatever it takes to get to that point. So all I can do is just sit and watch as the asteroids crash. The irony, I think, of this video most of all is that, it really is a looking back. Looking back, I think that a lot of Gorillaz songs in Humans were aimed at the wrong people, but they were right in principle. Hallelujah Money was essentially a jab at Trump, his policies and what people interpreted as the rather charismatic and cult-like personality of him. But you could easily take the lyrics of the song and simply associate it to someone like the press. But I think for a lot of us that were still raw from the election, I think we kind of forgot that. And keep in mind, whenever I say we, I'm meaning me. The same thing applies to the song Let Me Out. You could easily replace the words Obama and Trump with hope and the king, or freedom and the press, or whatever words you can think of that can best describe the situation. During my first video, I said that one of the reasons why Demon Days and Dirty Harry went over as well as they did, despite the political undertones behind them, was that things had changed during that time. Bush had become a lot less popular in his second term, and people had grown weary over the war in Iraq. I think you're running into much the same problem here. Just in a matter of months, we have gone from feeling like a president is going to make a situation worse to feeling like the whole entire country is cracking at the seams. And people are scared. Funny thing is, whenever I first heard the theme for Humans, I kind of laughed it off. I rolled my eyes and I was sitting there going, really? End of the world? Isn't that kind of thick? Bit of an over-exaggeration. Now I'm right there with them. Not that I actually feel like the world is going to end, but feeling more that there's nothing I can really do at this point aside from wait, continue on like I've been doing somewhat, and party until the end finally comes. I never thought I'd get to that point, but here we are. For all intents and purposes, I'm very much a political nihilist. I tend to not believe in something like a 1,000-year Reich or a utopian society, and ultimately I think all things will eventually come to an end, even the world itself. But even with that mentality, it can still be very terrifying just watching everything unfold and watching this meteoroid or asteroid coming towards you and feeling like you're helpless to stop it. All I can say to those who are of the extremist group, who are looking forward to a civil war of sorts, is ultimately you're going to do what you're going to do, but be careful what you wish for, because I think in the words of Doctor Strange, as far as the album itself, well, if you haven't noticed from the video, I appreciate it now more than whenever it first came out. I definitely think it's better than The Fall. I'm still disappointed that it seems like the Gorillaz themselves kind of take a backseat to the collaboration, and I'm definitely disappointed about the lack of guerrilla war videos and the cool music videos that we're used to seeing from albums like Plastic Beach or even Demon Days, but I will say I do understand that, animation is not cheap commodity. Although I will say this, if the girls do happen to come across this video for some odd reason, there are a lot of fans out there that I am sure would be more than happy to help you guys out with animation, and quite a few of them can actually imitate your guys' style pretty well. And a lot of them, the issue it has to do more with time than it does with money. So I bet if you were to make an offer, people would be more than happy to take it. Although I will also say I have no idea how the animation unions work, so maybe I'm out of line by making that comment. That's another subject I might go on for another video, but in the meantime, I think Humans is good. Flawed, perhaps, but a lot less flawed than what I was willing to give it credit for originally. So, while the radical right and left are having their protest and civil war, I'm going to be at the Gorillas End of the World party sucking down on root beer floats. So, good night, goodbye, and reject false icons. Thanks for watching.